talent will become dramatically scarce because of what I've labeled the other GDP, not for gross domestic product, but for the combination of globalization, demographics, and pipelines. A few years ago, together with Nitin Noria, now the Dean of Harvard Business School, we did a global study on senior talent, and regarding globalization, we found, not surprisingly, that global companies were planning to almost double their sources of revenues over a 6-year period from the emerging economies, the largest and fast-growing markets. This will happen in the coming years, certainly in Africa. Now, talent is very scarce. It is scarce in Africa, it is scarce in India, it is scarce in China, it is scarce in Brazil. That's one wave of globalization. The other wave is the new giants from these emerging economies, the Tatas from India who are coming back to conquer the developed world, the Samsung from Korea, the Huaweis from China. My quick and dirty calculations is that globalization will double in the coming years the demand for talent. The second factor, which doesn't directly affect Africa, is demographics. With the exception of Africa, India, Brazil, and a few more places, most countries are facing something that never happened before in history, which is the aging of the population because of the lower birth rate. When we did this analysis, we looked at the young tigers, people in the 35 to 44-year-old bracket, which are those individuals who are getting their final development to the more senior leadership positions. In just 6 years, the absolute number of leaders in this age bracket went down by 30%. You add to this 30% decline the growth in the economy of this period, and you end up having, again, half of the talent that you want in the right age brackets due to demographics alone. So while this is not affecting directly Africa, it is affecting the rest of the world, and indirectly it will affect you because they will look for your young talents. And the final point is, neither globalization nor demographics would be a problem if we have a rich inventory of qualified successors. That's when the third factor kicks in, which is the P for pipelines. When we did this study, we find that only 15% of the companies in Asia and North America had the right number of qualified successors. Situation was better in Europe, but still less than a third had the right pipelines. I've updated this analysis recently. I've broadcasted a global webinar on the new book, and it's not the how or the what, but the who at HBR. I did a poll with 1,200 participants on this. I did a poll online, and look at how dramatic these factors remain. Pipelines was not a crucial issue only for 2% of the participants. Same thing with demographics, same with globalization. So talent will be very hard to find. And if this is the situation, despite the fact that we are a search firm, despite the fact that 80% of our billings come from executive search, hiring is not your number one priority. You need to hire at the base. You need to hire exceptionally when you don't have the time. But your number one priority is not hiring. Your number one priority under this scenario is to defend whatever talent you already have. Because even if you are lucky to have it, your competitors won't have it because of the other GDP, and they will raid you. And they will raid you for talent because of the growth plans in Africa, because obviously the best place to locate the senior talent is particularly South Africa. So if you put all of these things together, you really need to work on assessing your senior leaders so that you can properly spot your high potentials, so that you can selectively maximize your efforts to retain, motivate, and properly develop them. But then the final step, as I said, is, okay, if talent is not enough, the solution collectively is not hiring, because even collectively, that cannot work when talent is not enough. If company A hires someone from company B, what company A gains is the loss of company B. So hiring is at best a zero-sum game. The solution is to become much better at developing our people much faster. And that requires two things. First, spotting your high potentials, who by definition are the ones who are going to go further and faster. But second, proper development. So how are companies doing about it? We recently contacted more than 800 very successful executives who have recently grown a lot, and we asked them, looking back on their own career so far, what had helped them unleash their potential. And not surprisingly, job rotations And stretch assignments, which is a particularly case of job rotations, was the key. Now, how are companies doing this? My colleague Boris Groisberg from Harvard Business School has recently done a survey across 400 companies, great companies. He asked them to assess themselves on 37 key talent practices. Out of the 37, job rotations was the worst. So to summarize the state of the art, if you can call it art, it's lousy because companies don't have a robust model to assess potential, don't properly train their line managers for assessing, and even if they were to do all of that, which they don't, they are not very good at developing people.